Greetings everyone. Today I would like to talk about the random stuff that is happening in Russia and happening in Mongolia. And you know that I talk about mainly about history, culture, spirituality, religion, and mainly about the Mongolian shamanism. So what is happening, what kind of stuff is happening in Russia that is related with the Mongols? It is of course history. Every country has this written history, and they have this dark age when the Mongols rise in power and they invaded their country and pillaged it and killed and murdered, and they even claim rape it. But it's going to be true that Mongols pillaged it, burned it, and destroyed and even killed people. But I will be not agree on rape it. I mean, you must think that this horde is moving quite fast, and they have specific orders, and according to our this military law and order, man must not do raping and do stuff that will hurt local population, because the main goal of Mongols is going to be conquering as much land as it is possible, and Mongols must think about the local population, and if there is some kind of a civil war, some kind of this disturbance and some ethnic uprising, Mongols usually use it. So Mongols try to be as polite, as diplomatic as it is possible, and as this tricky as it is possible. And we must know that we don't have this slave culture. Many sedentary people, so-called civilized world, has this slave culture where you use a person as a tool. And even this civilized Greeks say that slave is a tool that can speak, and something like that. So we don't capture a group of people and make them into a slave and even trade them. Generally, we like to capture craftsmen, and if there is metal workers, he and all his family is captured and placed in one place, and they usually build their own city. And this was also in the Golden Horde, and Golden Horde used to capture a lot of Russians and build in a city of a craftsman and use them as this, how to say, a place where they craft stuff, and a place where this ruling class or nomads can go and take what they want, something like that. So many countries don't like Mongols and have this hate for Mongols. I know, and not every country messes with the Mongolian history. Number one country that messes with the Mongolian history, it's going to be Russians, and they are very successful in this case, and they even almost wipe out our heritage, our culture and stuff during this communist era. And the reason why they mess with Mongolian history, it is because of their nationalism and because of their white supremacy, something like this. As a white man, they don't like to be like invaded by these small, not tall Asians, and even Mongol horses are not so tall. And they they use every possible argument, saying that this Mongol horde was merely a Russian horde, and this this Mongol horde was a Russian mercenary, etc., etc. So of course, yes, Mongols will use a mercenary, and Mongols will use small ethnic groups on their horde, and you don't conquer the world alone. You need other these groups that is loyal to you, and you use them as as a manpower. So yes, this is true that some people in the Mongol horde were these blonde Russians. Also, they are claiming that Mongols did not have any writing system. or writing script, and they have not left any, how to say, evidence. Yes, this is true, and in one of the previous videos, I told you that when a Chinese Taoist priest, Chanchung, visited the Great Khan was quite old. He noticed that Mongols still did not have any writing system, and he noticed that the Mongols, recorded his teachings on Arabic. Arabic here in Mongolia, Arabic looks like something like this. Here in Mongolia, Arabic is called as a Uyghur script. It is because we know this script on the Uyghurs. So in the very beginning of the Mongol Empire, or during the age of Genghis Khan, Mongols did not have like own script, and we used to use Arabic. And generally it is believed that this script was created by order of the Great Khan. I guess this was quite in the when he was very old, or his sons completed this script. And this script is a symbol of independence and our history, and of course culture. Thanks to this script, we usually claim our history. There is several documents in Europe, for example in France, where we would want to have some military alliance with the French and to conquer the Europe, etc., etc. And I guess this Rome and Turkey also keep these letters that is written in Mongolian script. And of course these scripts are going to be written in Mongolian language. So Russians are the #1 people who mess with the Mongol history, and they like to claim that this whole of Siberia and this area is basically Russian. And many these historical maps don't claim Siberia being a part of Mongol Empire. We are focusing to the south, east, and west, but we are not focusing towards the north. This is of course wrong. And if you add whole of Siberia and the land that we Mongols conquered, the empire should be #1. No one accomplished such a big stuff. But because of Russians being big dudes, and many historians don't claim this Great Siberia being the part of a Mongol empire. So during the communist era, Russians almost destroyed the national pride and this history and stuff. But of course they cannot destroy the culture, because culture was quite this high, I guess, in communism. And after this democracy in Mongolia, I don't see great cultural stuff in Mongolia. But during the communism, one could print such books, and it has Mongol this how to say, decoration and symbols, and in the case of a culture, everything is okay. So because of Russians, we have replaced our Mongol script into acrylic, and we became almost part of Russia. And this is a wonderful book that was published in 1991. This is Mongol Humun O Nere Ing Lablaho Tali, the Mirror of Mongolian Names, or the Dictionary of Mongolian Names. It was interesting to know that Mongolians had so many Tibetan names. So during the World War II, or during this strong communist era, or in 1940s, from 1940s and 1950s, many Mongols was influenced by the Russian culture and took a lot of Russian names. For example, there's a Russian name called Yura. Yura here in Mongolia became Yaura. Yura is Yaura. Name Grisha became Gerish. Grisha is Gerish. Name Seryoja is Soroj или Sirija. Seryoja is going to be Soroj или Sirija. So yeah, this was this communist influence, and generally it is believed that communism comes from Jews, and the Karl Marx, or this Jew who created this idea of class battle, or this majority or this lower class people must fight the upper class and create a communism, is believed to be a Jewish idea, and many historians claim that the leading members of Communist Party in Russia were Jewish heritage, and this communism have killed many upper class Mongolians, and for example, my mother's father's two elder brothers were killed. I mean, my grandfather's two elder brothers were killed simply because they were lamas. And I told you that during the World War II, my grandfather went to fight this Japanese when he was 16. And it is not exactly because he was a patriot. It is simply because one of his elder brothers was a fortune teller, and he advised my grandfather to join the army if you want to live, something like that. You join the army to survive. He lied that he was 16, and he went to this border area, and he served several years in army. But when he arrived home, his brothers were captured and murdered. During this communist area, Genghis Khan was enemy of people, and even Genghis Khan can be called as a Japanese spy. Everyone were called as a Japanese spy. And in the case of my father's side, my father's side is generally okay, but my grandfather's wife's father was killed. My grandfather married with a daughter of a rich man, and his her father did not like my grandfather, because my grandfather is like poor dude. But this rich man was killed by the communists because he had more than 1,000 livestock, and he's been called as a harnotrung, meaning a black fist. So this people who were rich, or people who had more than 1,000 livestock, people were people who were lamas. Now, lamas are going to be the people who has this writing skills, people who record the history, and they were all been removed, calling as them upper class, and this created very big problem with the Mongol history and stuff. So the Russians are going to be the #1 country that messes with the Mongol history, and thanks to this other countries that keep their these historic documents, we can claim our history. So from this book, I can notice a lot of this stuff that is that is related with the New Age shamanism, and in New Age shamanism, there's title Ish Uzulikch. Here in Mongolian, Ish Uzulikch is generally believed to be someone who shows the how to say, a magic, someone who shows the these shamanistic rituals and something like that. But in this book, they are saying that Ish is a Tibetan origin word, and Ish means bilig, bilgun, something like that. Also, New Age shamanism has this, especially I guess Buryat shamans have this god called Damding Dörlik, And generally, word damding is believed to be similar to damjing, meaning by passing to the generation to generation. But in this book, they are saying that word damding is not a Mongolian word. For example, damding. Damding comes from a Tibetan word irta magring. Irta magring. Damding means maring holot, meaning someone has a harsh voice, something like that. If you say dampil, it's going to be surgal arivjir, meaning someone who preaches, something like that. If you say word dorlig, dorlig is believed to be some kind of a can be a Mongol word similar to irlik, hunlik, bailik. It ends with a lik, and it is also can be called as a Mongol word. But in this book claims that word dorlik comes from a Tibetan word dorlex, and it means sang achir. It's a good thunderbolt. So damting dorlik is not totally a Mongol word. It's going to be a Tibetan word. And of course, the god who has a total Mongol name is going to be Irlik Khaan or Irlik Khaan. Well, that's pretty much for today, and thanks for watching.